Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome back to our Chavruta sessions live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg of the Noahide World Center. I believe we're going to finish off chapter 3 of the 8 chapters of the Rambam. Today we were able to get through one paragraph last week. I think there's only a couple more, but let's just turn it over to the rabbi and say hello. And shalom, Rabbi. You're live on the air. We're going to turn the class over to you, sir. So good to see you. We hope all's well with you there.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. We are well, yes, here in Israel. We're still in a war, but everything is today. It's much better. It's much fine. Um, we had a very interesting incident this the last weekend. Okay, where we had this attack in Netherlands of Arabs against Jews who came, Hebrew people from Israel who came to see some sort of a game, football game. But this is what we said all the time. Now it's a time, it's an era that people need to decide. Are they going with the good or are they going with the evil? Um, we can't decide for others. It depends on each one of you. You're okay, all of you. Okay, you're coming here to this learning. Everything is fine. But let's dive inside. Let's learn a bit, especially that today we have we're starting to dive inside for a true behavior. I would like to start that there is a saying, a very famous saying, okay, that those who want to change the world, finding at the end that the only thing that they can really change is themselves. And the beginning of everything is to start with yourself. You can change yourself, and this will put or do a lot of influence to others. Now, we as human beings, okay, have some sort of illusion. And it's coming to us from the age of 1.5, 2.5 years old, that we are separated from the world and we have some sort of a unique identity. It's true. It is true that each one of us have a unique identity, but what we forget a lot of times, it's how much we are also one organism, one big unit of organism, just like I will say the human body that have inside the kidneys, the liver, the heart, all the components together. And we need all of them. We can't throw aside one of them. On the same level, we are all one unit. And as more that we are behaving, more and more people are taking upon themselves to behave in the right way, the world is getting better. Now, we can't force others. We have freedom of choice, all of us, also the others. But on the other side, we can change ourselves. And this is exactly what we are learning in this eighth, I will say, opening of the Ethics of the Father, 8 chapters of the Maimonides. And I would like to go inside because now we're going to finish the last part of chapter 3. I hope that I will be able to share the screen and that we will see something because I don't know what happened to my, you see. Dan, maybe you can share the screen. You see, I don't know why it's got stuck. Who knows why? Do you have uh, I did everything, believe me. I'm fine. The last 10 minutes, I'm fighting against the internet. I think that this is I will say it like that. This is a Satan who is fighting against us. I closed so many things here because of that. Um, I will send you the link. I will send everybody the link. Let me share it. Okay, I'm stopping the share. I'm closing it so we won't lose the connection. Um, okay. We can see me, small. We don't need to see me, The most important thing is to see the share to the broadcast. Don't share to people so people can see it.
Okay, yeah, I can't share it to both. I can only share it to the yeah. Okay, okay, I'm going to start to read where we left off last week. Last week we finished off, it said, the wicked man, moreover, continually longs for excesses, which are really pernicious, but which, on account of the illness of his soul, he considers to be good. So continuing, likewise, just as when people unacquainted with the science of medicine realize that they are sick and consult a physician who tells them what they must do, forbidding them to partake of that which they imagine beneficial, and prescribing for them things which are unpleasant and bitter, in order that their bodies may become healthy, and that they may again choose the good and spurn the bad. So those whose souls become ill should consult the sages, the moral physicians, who will advise them against indulging in those evils which they, the morally ill, think are good, so that they may be healed by that art of which I shall speak in the next chapter, and through which the moral qualities are restored to their normal condition. Do you want me to read the last paragraph?
Continue. Yes.
But if he who is morally sick be not aware of his illness, which happens, imagining that he is well, or being aware of it, does not seek a remedy, his end will be similar to that of one who, suffering from a bodily ailment, yet continuing to indulge himself, neglects to be cured, and who in consequence surely meets an untimely death. Those who know that they are in a diseased state, but nevertheless yield to their inordinate passions, are described in the truthful law, which quotes their own words, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, in order that the indulgence of the passions may appease the thirst for them. This means that, intending to quench the thirst, it is, on the contrary, intensified. He who is ignorant of his illness is spoken of in many places by Solomon, who says, "The way of the fool is straight in his own eyes, but he who hearkens unto counsel is wise." This means that he who listens to the counsel of the sage is wise, for the sage teaches him the way that is actually right, and not the one that he, the morally ill, erroneously considers to be such. Solomon also says, "There is many a way which seems even before a man, but its ends are the ways unto death." Again, in regard to these who are morally ill, in that they do not know what is injurious from that which is beneficial, he says, "The way of the wicked is like darkness. They do not know against what they stumble." The art of healing the disease of the soul will, however, form the subject matter of the 4th chapter.
So basically what he's saying here, last week we spoke about, we spoke about Yirat Shamayim, okay, how to do the balance exactly with all of the values that we dealing with. Now he's more giving us an example, and he's using the physical side of our body to show that it's the same thing with our behavior. Just like in the physical side of the body, there are people who are, I'll say, who knows that they are sick, and they are trying to fix their sickness. Okay, they're going to the doctor, they're going to the hospital, whatever it is. But there are those who doesn't know even that they are sick, and therefore they're not going to try to heal themselves. And what will happen to them usually, as they're going to die with their sickness. Okay, and there are those that know that they are sick people, and they don't want to deal with themselves. They're not doing anything. They're saying to themselves, "Never mind, I'm going to die, whatever it is, I don't care." Okay, and on the same level, we have the people who are illness with their, I will say, behavior. There are those who don't know even that they're ill, those who knows but they don't want to fix it, and those who knows that they have problems or difficulties or illnesses in their behavior and they want to fix it. How to fix it? This is chapter 4. Now, last time we spoke about, I will say, what exactly is the scale of good and bad. People can decide for themselves all sorts of ideas. And we gave an example, okay, with the Hezbollah, and we had also, what's his name, Muhammad was with us now, and the difficulties, illnesses, in this room, in their behavior. And we spoke about, sorry, we spoke about the people who have the hatred, and they think that the way to bring people to get connected with God is by forcing it and by killing others, whatever it is. The Hezbollah people and the other wicked that we have today. But this is a wrong scale, even though they're saying all the time, we're coming in the name of God. It's not related to what we have today, and especially not in a place, in the world, where the freedom of choice and the importance of each person in this world is very high. And this is what we're saying to them. Look, there are other ways to bring the knowledge of God to the people. Okay, go to the example of the Hebrew sages. What we do in the Noahide world movement, there are other rabbis who are teaching all sorts of Noahide people. Everything is fine. You can learn. You can understand the knowledge of God. We are in a stage that you can speak about it. You don't need to kill others to understand this thing. And so we spoke. This is what we spoke last week. Now I want to dive inside to chapter number 4, because we speak with people. I'm speaking now with people who understand that we need to learn how to behave and how to heal all the problems of our behavior, to try to define it and to heal it. Okay, so we need to go to chapter number 4. Before we go into chapter number 4, there's something very important that I want to teach. And I want to jump to the end of chapter 4, because what I want to show now, I don't know, maybe, up again. If not, Daniel, yeah, I have something. Look, you see? Now let's see if it will go also with the English. It's not what I looked for, but it's okay. This is another part of the Maimonides in somewhere else. Dan, please, I'm stopping the share, okay? And please show, look at the last part of chapter 4. Really the last part, okay? The last paragraph, and I will go back to my intention in this chapter. I want us in a moment to see, I will say, the principle, and then we can dive inside to a lot of details. But when we will understand the principle, it will be much easier for us to say to ourselves, okay, let's try to define exactly everything. And he's teaching us a lot of, I will say, behaviors in all sorts of, a very long list of behaviors, how exactly, or what exactly is the right behavior. But we need to understand the principle, and the principle is in the last paragraph. Please. Show me. No, put your stuff, just a moment, put yourself, pin yourself as the biggest, okay? I can't see you.
It's section 14 is the last paragraph.
Just a moment, go a bit up. Yes, from here, okay? From here,
okay.
Now.
He says, now let me return to my subject. If a man will always carefully discriminate as regards his actions, directing them to the medium course, he will reach the highest degree of perfection possible to a human being, thereby approaching God and sharing in his happiness. This is the most acceptable way of serving God, which the sages also had in mind when they wrote the words, He who ordereth his course aright is worthy of seeing the salvation of God, as it is said, to him that ordereth his course aright will I show the salvation of God. Do not read Wasam, but Wisham direct. Shuma means weighing and valuation. This is exactly the idea which we have explained in this chapter. This is all we think necessary to be said on this subject. Really, think about what you're doing before you do it.
This is, yes, exactly. But you need to think about why. What is the reason that he's putting here? Try to put inside again to the chat. What is the reason that the Maimonides is telling us that we need to think before we behave in something? What exactly he said there? You can put it again up on the screen or something, so people will be able to see it, or maybe send the link. He is giving a special reason. Why is it good to think before we behave? This is something that we say to people from the age of the kindergarten, okay? Think before you speak. Think before you behave. Fair enough. But why? What the Maimonides is giving here is giving a reason why. Try to write in the chat, please.
I would have to say being extreme away from the middle on one side or the other is usually the most surefire way to be in error.
What the Maimonides is saying. What the Maimonides is saying. He's saying good things, but I'm asking what the Maimonides is saying. Try for a moment to see inside.
He says if a man will always carefully discriminate as regards to his actions, directing them to the medium course, the middle road, staying away from extremes.
But why? He's saying also why.
He will reach the highest degree of perfection possible to a human being, thereby approaching God and sharing in his happiness. That's huge. This is the most acceptable way of serving Hashem.
Sharing in his happiness, right? Sharing in his happiness. Something amazing. Someone wrote something in the chat room. Just a moment, let me see. Yes, people wrote. The highest degree of perfection, it's true, but why? The question is why? Because our emotions usually, okay, fair, but it's not the why. Those who live righteously are worthy of seeing God's salvation. He says it at the end. It's true. One can't take back what Hashem's salvation. When you're saying Hashem's salvation, and it's written down here, I'm not saying it's not written down. It's written down at the end. It's true. But first it says, and this is what you read, okay? To get connected with God and to have his happiness, to get connected with the happiness of God. I want to show this for a moment in somewhere else, okay? I'm trying to find the English version. Let me share the screen for a moment. Just a moment. Then I'm sharing the screen, okay? Here it is. Can you see it? Can you see my screen? It's in Hebrew, right? Just, I don't have English here. No. It doesn't have the English. Just a moment. In a moment, I'll put the English also, okay? Here it is. Okay. Let me try to put the English also for all of you. So you'll be able, if not, you won't have any choice except for believing me. I'm in the English. I can't believe it. It doesn't show the English. Okay. Basically, this is also the Maimonides, okay? This is the book of the wanderers, those who don't know how to have a lot of questions. And he's using here, the Maimonides is using here a very important verse. You know what? Let's look at, I will show you these on the verses, okay? And then I will say where it is in the Maimonides. in Exodus, after the big crisis that the Hebrew nation did the sin of the golden calf, okay, um, and Moses is going back to God and is praying in front of God, and he is asking him something very important. Um, he's asking him. Yes, he's asking him. Look, he's asking God, please go in front of us, okay? And if your presence does not go with us, do not take us to our land, okay? Don't take us from here. And God is answering him, okay? Even this thing that you have spoken, I will do. And then he's saying something very, very amazing. Please read verse number 19.
Exodus 33, verse 19. He said, I will let all my goodness pass before you. I will proclaim the name of the Lord before you, and I will favor when I wish to favor, and I will have compassion when I wish to have compassion.
Now, first of all, God is saying to Moses, he's going to give all of his goodness. Now, this is the same word that the Maimonides is using in chapter 4 at the end of when he's concluding all the behavior that people need to do. It's the same word, okay? If we will behave in the right way, if we will think before we will behave in this way or in the other way, we will be able to get connected to God and to get connected with all of his goodness. Now, the continuous of this thing is that God is saying to him, I'm going to show you my behavior and imitate it. Okay, this is the next thing that he's going to say. Please read verses number 22, 23.
22. And it shall be that when my glory passes by, I will place you into the cleft of the rock, and I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will remove my hand, and you will see my back, but my face shall not be seen.
What exactly is this back that Moses is going to see? This is the next chapter, okay? And he's saying to him, verses 6 and 7, please.
Verse 6. And the Lord passed before him and proclaimed, Lord, Lord, benevolent God, who is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger and abundant in loving kindness and truth, preserving loving kindness for thousands, forgiving iniquity and rebellion and sin, yet he does not completely clear of sin. He visits the iniquity of the parents on children and on children's children to the third and fourth generations.
Those are the ways that God is behaving in this world, right? Now, the Maimonides is using those I will say, behavior, okay? And in the Guide for the Perplexed, okay, and this is in Hebrew, but believe me, and I can share this, so maybe you will be able to put it also in English. He's saying here that the main thing that God is showing Moses, and this is the way of getting the goodness of God, is how to behave in the right way. And by behaving in the right way, imitating God, behaving in the same way of God, we're managing to get connected with God and to get all of his goodness. So the reason why we're going to learn chapter 4 in those 8 chapters, and we're going to learn now a very long chapter with a lot of details about a lot of behaviors that we need to behave. What is the side of the bad in one side, the side of the bad in the other side, and what is the main way, I will call it like that, okay? The middle way of behavior. And when we will know how to behave in the middle way, in the exact way, This is where we're going to get the goodness of God, just like God said to Moses. And by imitating the behavior of God, who is behaving perfectly in the right way, and we doing the same thing, we're managing to get to ourselves the good of God. This is the reason why we're going to read and learn how to behave. This is also what the Maimonides is saying at the end of chapter 4. Okay, now here it's in Hebrew. I will send you now the link so you'll be able to see it. I don't know what happened to my internet today. Fair enough. It's okay. Now you have it in the chat, so you can look at this after that. Okay, this is the Hebrew, but you can find also the English side. Whatever it is, you have it with everybody. And this is the main part that we need to realize when we're starting to discuss all the tiny bitty details of each behavior that we're going to read now. Let me see again if we can find maybe we can find it here. If not, then you're going to put it on the screen again. Let me see for a moment, okay? Maybe I can find it here. Let's see if it's giving us. Huh. They don't have it here. Ethics of the Fathers. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not working today. God knows why. No? Yay. Maybe. Pray with me. You're very silent today. Everything is fine. Okay, now that we've learned the principle, we're going to dive inside to start to learn part after part, bit after bit, behavior for a lot of, I will say, things. There is, first of all, the principle, and the principle is very simple. We need to be, don't tell me that we don't have the English, yay, we did it. Hey. Fair enough. So we're going to see, okay, I will say this thing of all of the things, okay, whatever he's going to say. We start with the principle, and the principle is very important, and it's a bit related. Where do I have this? Here it is. The principle is very simple. I wrote it down last week to Dan and also to Bart, but let's read the first part and then we'll explain it. Please, Dan.
Okay, so starting at the beginning of chapter 4, concerning the cure of the diseases of the soul. Good deeds are such as are equibalanced, maintaining the mean between two equally bad extremes, the too much and the too little. Virtues are psychic conditions. There's a big statement. Virtues are psychic conditions and dispositions which are midway between two reprehensible extremes, one of which is characterized by an exaggeration, the other by a deficiency. Good deeds are the product of these dispositions. To illustrate, abstemiousness is a disposition which adopts a mid-course between inordinate passions and total insensibility to pleasure. Abstemiousness then is a proper rule of conduct, and the psychic disposition which gives rise to it is an ethical quality, but inordinate passions, the extreme of excess, and total insensibility to enjoyment, the extreme of deficiency, are both absolutely pernicious. The psychic dispositions from which these two extremes, can you scroll down a little more, Rabbi? The psychic disposition from which these two extremes, inordinate passion and insensibility, result, the one being an exaggeration, the other a deficiency, are alike classed among moral imperfections.
The best way to explain what he said here, okay, I'm going to something that I defined to Dan last week after the meeting that we had, okay? The meeting that we had last week, and this is what I wrote. And you can read it also, okay? It's also related with the fear of heaven, but it's also related with all of the small behavior things that we have. Please, Dan, read this. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see my...
No, I still have the 8 chapters up.
No.
I can read it right from Zoom.
Fine. Here it is. Now you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Now you can see my WhatsApp? Okay.
Okay, yeah, so you were describing, last week, you were describing the definition of Yirat Shamayim, or the fear of heaven. You said, it's like a tightrope walker who walks on a tightrope over a high abyss. He is afraid of falling and therefore maintains proper balance. In other words, very, very steady walking on a tightrope. So, too, a person in our world must be afraid to live the right values with the right balance. This is the definition of fear of heaven.
So here we spoke last week about all the, we'll say, values that they are in heaven, and we want to bring them here in the right balance, but on the same level. And each, and this is what the Maimonides is starting here, okay, in the principle. And each thing that we're going to learn now, there is the right balance, and this is what the exact word that he started, okay, the equi-balanced, okay, thing for each thing that we're going to teach. And there is going too much on one side and too much to the other side. And we need to live in the right balance between things. And he's going to give a lot of examples, okay? He started already, but he's going to give more and more examples of things that we need to be in the right balance. Now, again, what is the main reason that we want to be in the right balance? Because if we will be able to be in the right balance, we're going to, I will say, to get the goodness of God. We're going to be connected with God, who is working in this world in the right balance, in the most perfect way. And we're going to get connected with God, to imitate God, and then to receive from him the goodness of God. For this is the reason why I want to be in the right balance for everything. And he's starting to give all sorts of ideas, okay? And here, basically what he said is we need to remember that too much on one side is not good. And I will give an example before we're going to dive inside for all of his examples. It's not good to spend too much money, to spread the money that I'm earning. On the other side, it's not good to hold my money and not to give it to anyone else, not to give any, what we call tzedakah, not to give any, I know, for those who don't have, and to say that everything is mine, that's it. Both sides are not good. We need to be in the middle side, and on one side, knowing how to give, on the other side, not to give too much, because also I need to live, okay? Because everybody needs to live. It's out of balance to just to give. It's out of balance just to keep it by yourself. And we're going to go now one after one after one. We're going to discuss all of them, and then he's going to teach us more principles. So let's go to the first. It's a bit long, but let's go. Maybe I will stop you in the beginning, in the middle. Okay, please.
Okay. Likewise, liberality is the mean between sordidness and extravagance. Courage is between.
Just a moment. This is exactly what I said. We need to be in the right balance between spreading the money that I have, and on the other side, just holding the money that I have. So we need to give tzedakah. By the way, if you ask me, and I will give you one of the things that in the Hebrew tradition we hold very much, it's to give a person 1 of 10. Okay, not to give more than that. 1 of 10 is enough. Okay, you're keeping 9 parts, and you're giving 1 of 10. Again, also this in principle. Okay, don't now learn from this principle for every situation. Okay. But basically, to give 1 part from 10 parts that you have $100 and you're giving $10, it's okay. To give more than that, you're starting to spread the money. To give less than that, so you're getting a bit, inside yourself. So this is the beginning. Please, let's continue on.
Yeah. Courage is the middle line between recklessness and cowardice. Dignity is the middle between haughtiness and loudishness. Humility is the middle line between arrogance and self-abasement. Contentedness is between avarice and slothful indifference. And magnificence between meanness and profusion. Since definite terms do not exist in our language with which to express these later qualities, it is necessary to explain their content and tell what the philosophers meant by them. A man is called magnificent whose whole intention is to do good to others by personal service, by money or advice, and with all his power, but without meanwhile bringing suffering or disgrace upon himself. That is the medium line of conduct.
Yes, continue a bit more, because he's explaining here 3 things. He's explaining what is the middle thing, and this is what he said to now, okay? The one who have, I will say, the right heart with others, with trying to help others, with everything that he have, with the possibilities that he have, with the wisdom that he have, with the money that he is managing to spend, not too much, whatever it is. And now let's continue on a bit.
Okay, he says, the mean man is the one who does not want others to succeed in anything, even though he himself may not thereby suffer any loss or hardship. Can you scroll up or down, Rabbi? Even though he doesn't suffer any loss or hardship. So a mean person is somebody who wants others to suffer or injury. That is the one extreme. The profuse man, on the contrary, is the one who willingly, performs the above-mentioned deeds in spite of the fact that he thereby brings upon himself great injury or disgrace, terrible hardship, or considerable loss.
So here we have those people that are willing to do everything for others, even though they're going to lose the money, the energy, whatever they have, and they're going to harm themselves. This is one side. It's not good. It's not he have a good heart. No, it's not that the person that is because he's harming himself. The other side is to harm others, to do bad things to others. This is the other side. So you need to be in the middle side. You want to do good for others with everything, with money, with advice, with whatever, in a normal sense, but not that you harming yourself on one side, but you do good to others. This is where we're starting to understand the middle side, not to take one side to another side. It's very important for me because in a moment is going to share a very important example, another example. But let's continue on, please.
Okay.
Gentleness, we came here, right?
Okay. Gentleness is the mean between irascibility and insensibility to shame and disgrace, and modesty between impudence and shamefacedness. The explanation of these later terms, gleaned from the sayings of our sages, may their memory be blessed, seem to be this. In their opinion, a modest man is one who is very bashful, and therefore modesty is the mean. This we gather from their saying, a shamefaced man cannot learn. They also assert a modest man is worthy of paradise, but they do not say this is a shamefaced man. Therefore I have thus arranged them. So it is with the other qualities. One does not necessarily have to use conventional terms for these qualities, if only the ideas are fixed clearly in the mind.
So again, I will give an example, okay? As you all know, I was a high school principal for a long time, and I had a student that was very shy. And some of my teachers were very expressed or very touched with his shyness. And they said that he's very modesty and he's very, very nice person, whatever it is. And I said to them, look good. He is not shy. He doesn't have any, I will say, he have no possibility of standing not only in front of teachers, but also not in front of his friends. He is nothing. He is so nothing that he is very shy, but it's only covering for being nothing. And we need to lift him up so he will be able to stand up for himself, for being something, because everybody smashed him. And when we realized that, all of us, so we managed to bring him to a stage. It took us time. It was more than half a year, whatever it is, to bring him to a stage where he can stand up for himself. So he was a nice guy, but he wasn't something that everybody is demolishing him. And this is what the Maimonides is saying here. You need to be careful. You can't be, I will say, with the excuse of being shy, okay, being nothing that everybody can demolish you and stand on you, and you will be, whatever it is, because I'm very shy person. You need to be in the right stage of everything. So let me go to another very important thing, and then I'll open it to questions. Please, let's read this part, because this is a very important one. People are getting a lot of time confused with this issue. Please, it often
Okay.
happens.
It often happens, however, that men err as regard to these qualities, imagining that one of the extremes is good and is a virtue. Sometimes the extreme of the too much is considered noble, as when temerity is made a virtue, and those who recklessly risk their lives are hailed as heroes. Thus, when people see a man reckless to the highest degree, who runs deliberately into danger, intentionally tempting death, and escaping only by mere chance, they laud such a one to the skies and say that he is a hero. At other times, the opposite extreme, the too little, is greatly esteemed, and the coward is considered a man of forbearance. The idler is being a person of a contented disposition, and he who by the dullness of his nature is callous to every joy is praised as a man of moderation. That is one who eschews sin. In like manner, profuse liberality and extreme lavishness are erroneously extolled as excellent characteristics. This is, however, an absolutely mistaken view. For the really praiseworthy is the medium course of action to which every one should strive to adhere, always weighing his conduct carefully so that he may attain the proper mean.
I will give an example for the beginning, what you spoke in the beginning about people who risking their life and people saying they have a lot of courage. We know there is a game today in New York in the last year, okay, in New York, that young kids, when I'm saying young kids, it's ages 16, 17, 18, okay, young teenagers who are sitting on the train, okay, but on top of the train, not inside the train, on top of the train. In the last year, 6 kids died because of that, okay? And people are saying, they have a lot of courage. They don't have a lot of courage. They have a lot of stupidity, okay? Because they might die. Or well, accidentally they didn't die. God, thank God. But it's not showing any courage. Courage, maybe it's when you are forced to do, or say, okay, the soldiers who are going to fight for, like we have today in Israel, okay, they're going to fight for rescuing their country from, and they know that they might die, God forbidden, and even though they getting dressed with everything that they need to get dressed, so it will save them as maximum as possible. And they're going there to fight against evil. This is where you have courage. But to go to all stupid things and to put yourself in danger, this is not courage, and this is not a hero, and this is nothing except for stupidity. And this is where a lot of people, a lot of times, are getting confused with things. Where is the middle thing? So the middle thing is to do things with a lot of, I will say, common sense on one side, and not to take the one part or one side or the other side. And again, I'm saying, when we're going to the middle side, we will manage to accept, I will say, the goodness of God. But for this, we need to be careful not to define things in a wrong way. So first of all, we need to define exactly, and this was the first paragraph that we started to learn, the first two paragraphs, okay? What is each side that is not good, and what is the middle behavior? And the second thing that we need to do is not to be mistaken by defining the sideways as something very good, because it's not. It's on the side, so you might lose your balance. And what is happening when you're going on the tiptoe, okay, on the cliff of the mountain, and you're losing your balance, God forbidden, you're falling down. And this is exactly what we said. We need to be in the right balance, and it's not easy. It is not easy. Sometimes we're starting to get confused, okay, what to do. I will give an example of something else in other part of the history, okay? 80 years ago, after the Holocaust, after Germany was defeated, a lot of priests, okay, a lot of people from the Christian world who held themselves as priests, held themselves as people that are very important, they managed, or they took some of the people from Germany who killed a lot of Jews, and they had a lot of mercy for them, and they put them, in Argentina and in other places like that, that they won't go to trial. Now, this is not mercy. This is not a good way. This is a way to leave the evil in this world, instead of sending them to do the trial and to stand in front of judge and to pay for all of the evil things that they did. So people said, wow, such a nice mercy of people, but it's not. It's losing the balance of things. Okay, so this is again an example from other things. So we spoke here tonight about three principles. Okay, the first one is that this is, we said four things, 4 points. Okay, the first point that we said we finalized with chapter number 3, and we said that we need to assure ourselves to be aware, just like if someone have the illness with his body, and the same thing, he needs to go to the doctor of the behavior, okay, to heal his illnesses. Then we've learned that when we're healing the illnesses of our behavior, we're managing to accept the goodness of God. We saw this already with Moses, that is asking from God to see his behavior, and God is telling him back, I will show you my behavior and you will get all my goodness. And we saw this also with the Maimonides in another book, and he's also saying it here in the end of chapter 4. And then we started to learn what exactly is the right behavior, to do it in a way that in the balanced way, and not to lose, I will say, the definitions when things are in extreme on one side, and we're saying to ourselves, oh, let's call this a brave issue. Let's call this all sorts of words that are not related with, I will say, the reality. So we started. Next week we will continue. Chapter 4 is a bit long. It's a bit long, but I'll give you a hint so you'll be able to read it, and you can read it also for yourself. It's also giving the mistake of Moses. Okay, Moses did a mistake, he did a sin. And the Maimonides is explaining what exactly was his sin. Now, I want you to know the Maimonides that is writing this book, he was living among the Christian or the Muslims, you know?
Muslims.
He was living among the Muslims, exactly. Now, the Muslims have an idea that the prophets, and especially Muhammad, is never wrong. Everything that he is doing is exact. And this is also what the jihad side of the Muslims is taking from Muhammad, part of the stories, mainly in Medina, not in Mecca, in Medina, in the second part of his life, that he did a lot of rapes, a lot of killing, a lot of other things. And they're saying all of the things that the prophets did are 100% excellent, and we need to imitate them. We're saying something else. And this is why the Maimonides is very important for him. In this chapter, I'm telling you something in behind the scenes, okay? That Moses did a mistake. Even though Moses is the big prophet of all of the prophets, and also the Muslims agree with that, but Moses also did a mistake. He did a sin, and he paid for the sin that he did. And now we're getting, I will say, it could be that someone that is in a very high stage, but he's also a man and he's doing mistakes. And what we want is to learn not from the behavior of the prophet, we want to learn from the behavior of God. It's very important to understand that. And this is why in this chapter, after the Maimonides is showing a lot of things, what is the middle behavior, it also speaks about the sin of Moses. So read this chapter. And next week we will continue on. I gave you here now things from behind the scenes of their ideas.
Yeah, is a very important point, a very important chapter for sure to understand how to function properly. And you know, the more I study, the more you realize there's problems with subjectivity, and definition also causes tunnel vision. And often people say, this is the way it's got to be, or this is the way it really is. And yeah, you go to an extreme when you get too wishy-washy, subjective. Everybody has the right to, you know, like gender equality and choose their own gender. That's way off the hook. And others, you know, say no. Being so hard that there's no flexibility is an extreme. And I remember I had to do a eulogy once when my grandmother passed away, and the only thing I could say about her as an example was she typified avoiding extremes. And so I share a little bit about that. So it's always nice to know that living a balanced life. And I like today's lesson, how it talks about thinking about your actions before you actually do them. I've got myself in a lot of trouble over the years by just hastily reacting. And if you're a reactionary person, this is something that you got to learn to reel in. Get self-control on certain situations, and think about your actions before you jump into them, for sure.
Yes, thank you very much, Dan. Now, let's see if someone have any questions or something to say. First of all, it's good to see you all. Okay, Colin, it's good to see you from, I don't know, you're in Nigeria now or in England?
I'm in England.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a moment, I will find something about England. If there are any questions about things that we spoke today or other things, it's the time. Let me find something in England. Yes, please. Nobody have any questions. Everything was clear. Fair enough. Fair enough.
No,
I'm a good teacher.
so
I'm a good teacher.
not clear.
Yes, please.
Someone is. I have a question.
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening. Actually, I was not. I'm not sure that I could understand when you told us about. You were talking about giving too much, everything, and you were talking about. You said that we are out of balance. And my question is, who are we supposed to give? Where are we supposed to give? Are we not supposed to? Yes, I suppose that yes, we are supposed to help each other, but how can we do this? How can we explain? Can you go further in this point? Because I'm not sure that I could understand.
I'm saying always, okay? I think that it all depends, first of all, about what you have, okay? Now, there are a few ways what to give and how to give. I think that the best thing is also to split it a bit, okay? Not to give always to only one thing. In a moment, I will explain. I think that the main things that is noachai to give is, first of all, foremost, I'm sure that always each one of you, wherever you live, there are people who are a bit, I will say, poor and need a bit of help. Could be someone who doesn't, who lives in a shelter. It could be someone that doesn't have a family at all. I don't know, okay? But I'm sure that wherever you live, there are also people who need help, assistance. And to give to those people is very important. Not to lose contact in your region. I will say it like that. Another thing that I think that Noachat can do, and it's very good, we have communities, okay, all over the world. Some of the communities, some of the places, people are very strong. I will say financially, okay, very strong. And there are places that people are much less. We have a lot of communities in India, a lot of communities in South America. Those are places that have much less, I will say, resources for a lot of things. And when you're giving to the Noachide World Center, you're passing us money. We have, for example, someone who is living in India. Okay, he's flying every 3 months back to Israel. But he is living in India and he is helping those communities to grow up. And when you're passing money to the Noachide World Center, so this is also helping us to build up those communities in those places that are wicked places. And always I'm saying, don't give only to one place, okay? Give to the poor people in your area and to Noachide, okay? Give to the poor people. By the way, the family is always also very good to give. If you know about someone in your family and you can help him, assist him, give him. And again, don't give too much, okay? 10% of what you have. Now, I'm not speaking if you Bill Gates, okay? If you Bill Gates and, you know what happened with Bill Gates, a true story, okay? At the beginning, he gave me 10% or something. And then he managed to realize that he has so much money. So he left by himself 10%, and the rest 90% he spread over to a lot of things, good things in all sorts of places in the world. But still, believe me, he have enough money for him, for his kids, for his grandkids, for 10 generations of himself. So of course, people who have so much money, it's a different problem, I'll call it like that. But normal people, to give some of the money that you give to the people who are poor in your area, give some of the money to the Noachide World Center. It's not for me. It's for the people who we helping others. We taking the money from, or we using the money, this payment from strong places to places who are wicked places. So those are the places, that you can give. And again, 10% is more than enough, and it's giving a blessing. I will tell you a secret: it's giving a blessing. When you're starting to give, suddenly more and more money is coming inside you. The reason is very simple, because the money that we get is because God is giving us. God is giving us the money. Now, if He says that you know how to give it also to others, those 10%. So he's saying to himself, I prefer to give the money to you because I know that you will give the 10% instead of giving it to someone who is holding the money for himself. Okay? And this is why it's giving blessing. Believe me, I'm saying this to you also from experience, okay? From a personal experience from others, okay? This is something that is giving blessing. To give to others is giving always blessing. I see that Angelica is also nodding with her head, and it's true. She can also say that.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
try this, you will find it.
Very correct.
Okay.
It's working. Yeah, very nice. It's exactly what happened. We also spoke about this also more than once. Okay, so this is
Just to mention, I have just a mention observation. I also give through the website some time ago. I think I choose pound sterling, and the website couldn't process that. I had to use, I think, dollars. Is the website, is it configured to only accept US dollars?
on the website.
They don't have a center website here.
I know that on the Noachide website, okay, there is a donation. In England, you can do it also tax deductible, whatever it is, and then you can get back from the authorities a bit of something back. This is on the website of the Noachide. I'm not sure exactly about other websites and other organizations.
They know how
World Center.
Yeah, center. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So you can verify, not now, verify later on with your staff while we process pound sterling. But
when you're sending the payment or something, it's a tax deductible on one side, and on the other side, it's going to those places that I said, okay? To the people, to other also communities that have less possibilities of giving, I will say to build up themselves. When you're sending money to the Noachide World Center, but again, I'm saying don't send only to the Noachide World Center. Send also to the wicked people in your places. I'm saying it's again.
As family, we spread it, but there are times where we have to give allocation, some of our giving to the Noachide World Center as we give to other communities around. So that's what I'm trying to clarify, actually.
Again, yes, when you're giving to the Noachide World Center, so you're giving basically to other communities, exactly, to the communities who don't have enough. Okay, we're buying for them, say, the books, we're sending them people, we're sending them all sorts of things. There are communities who have less. Okay, a few 2 years ago, we sent something like we had a very big community in Africa. Okay, in Nigeria, by the way, a very big community, more than 300 people, and they don't have the possibilities there. We got was convinced that they don't have the possibilities of buying books like the prayer books, whatever it is, and they did all those ceremonies and donations that we got from people from all over the world. We send them the books, we send them all sorts of things that they strengthen this connection with the Noachide path and learning of the Noachide. Okay, so all of us together, all of us community managed to strengthen the community and bring it to become more large and more stable in this world. Fair enough. But again, I'm saying don't send only to the Noachide. I'll be more than pleased, very nice. It will be nice, but send also to the people who are poor people next in your neighborhood. Find them and also assist them. It's very important. Don't lose the connection.
Right.
I will say
in your locality, in your neighborhood.
With the legs in the ground where you live.
That's right. Front lines. That's the front lines, folks. Where you are is the front lines, and you got to have that outlook in life. And if you can help, I think Ange had a post I seen on Facebook the other day. If you see the need and you have the wherewithal to meet the need, often it's Hashem trying to make it clear to you that it's a purpose for you, and you got to be careful a little bit, because there are you give to those that are worthy, because the wicked will drain you dry if they can, and don't ever get jaded, but always give from a kind and caring heart.
I can hear you very badly. I don't know if everybody else
I'm not hearing.
can hear. We
No.
can't hear you.
You're not hearing me at all?
Very
We
bad.
hear you very, very hard. Something there is
hear.
the internet.
I don't. Can you hear me now? Oh, I may have knocked something loose. I don't know if anybody else can hear me. Yeah, I've got cables and cords. Sorry. Yeah, maybe on that note, Rabbi, I should shut it down for today.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to
And
check
we'll
my
meet
connection.
next week. We're going to meet,
Oh.
right? We're going to meet next week, hopefully. Oh,
Yeah,
bless
my audio mixer shows I've still got a strong broadcast going out, so I can only based on I got to check.
Microphone. Something is wrong with your microphone or something. We can't hear you at all. Very hard. Okay, everybody. Okay. So have a great week ahead, and we'll keep in touch, and with a lot of blessings from Jerusalem
Thank
to
you.
all of you.
Thank you.
And,
Well, yeah,
a good
people out
week.
there can hear me just fine. So, yeah, on that note, we're going to wind it down for today, but we will be back with more of the 8 chapters of the Rambam. This is one of my favorite books because I find it is foundational to understanding ethics in this world and how to begin to function. And this chapter 4 is, if you got to grip it and grasp it to understand that, yeah, extremes exist, and we all float and bounce between them. And a lot of the drama and problems in the world happen because people have different extremes and people have different definitions, and subjectivity can confuse some situations. They can't hear me. So on that note,
It's
yeah,
okay,
I'm
Dan.
gonna
We
shut it
can't
down
hear
for
you.
today.
okay.
All right, so yeah,
All
I'm
good.
going to close it down.
Be blessed, everyone.
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
You too. Bye-bye, everybody.
Nice week. Bye.
Baruch Hashem.
Bye.